Hey everybody, welcome to Storytime Saturday Nights with me, Dr. Tina Webb. I've got my pajamas on and I'm ready to go. So let's get started. Tonight's story comes to us from our forever First Lady, Michelle Obama, from her book called Becoming. And tonight, we're gonna learn a story about Black love. One Saturday evening, at the end of May, Barack took me out on a date. In the 4 months since becoming president, he'd been spending his days working on ways to fulfill various promises made to voters during the campaign. Now he was making good on a promise to me. We were going to New York to have dinner and see a show. For years in Chicago, our date nights have been a sacred part of every week, an indulgence we built into our lives and protected no matter what. I love talking to my husband across a small table in a low-lit room. I always have, and I expect I always will. Barack is a good listener, patient and thoughtful. I love how he tips his head back when he laughs. I love the lightness in his eyes, the kindness at his core. Having a drink and an unrushed meal together has always been our pathway back to the start, to that first hot summer when everything between us carried an electric charge. I dressed up for our New York date, putting on a black cocktail dress and lipstick, styling my hair in an elegant updo. I felt a fluttering excitement at the prospect of a getaway, of time alone with my husband. In the last few months, we'd hosted dinners and gone to the Kennedy Center performances together, but it was almost always in an official capacity and with lots of other people. This was to be a true night off. Barack had dressed in a dark suit with no tie. We kissed the girls and my mom goodbye in the late afternoon and walked hand in hand across the South Lawn and climbed into Marine One, the presidential helicopter, which took us to Andrews Air Force Base. We next boarded a small Air Force plane, flew to JFK Airport, and we were then helicoptered into Manhattan. Our movements have been planned meticulously in advance by our scheduling teams and the Secret Service, meant as always to maximize efficiency and security. Barack, with the help of Sam Cass, had chosen a restaurant near Washington Square Park that he knew I'd love for its emphasis on locally grown foods, a small, tucked-away eatery called Blue Hill. As we motorcaded the last stretch of the journey from the helipad in Lower Manhattan to Greenwich Village, I noted the lights of the cop cars being used to barricade the cross streets, feeling a twinge of guilt at how our mere presence in the city was mucking up the Saturday evening flow. New York has always awakened a sense of awe in me, big and busy enough to dwarf anyone's ego. I remember how wide-eyed I'd been on my first trip there decades earlier with Chersney, my mentor from Princeton. Barack, I knew, felt something even deeper. The wild energy and diversity of the city had proven the perfect hatching place for his intellect and imagination years back when he was a student at Columbia. At the restaurant, we were shown to a table in a discreet corner of the room as around us people tried not to gawk. But there was no hiding our arrival. Anyone who came in after we did would have to get swept up with a magnetometer wand by the Secret Service team, a process that was usually quick, but still an inconvenience. For this, I felt another twinge. We ordered martinis. Our conversation stayed light. 4 months into our lives as POTUS and FLOTUS, we were still retrofitting, figuring out how one identity worked with the other and what this meant inside our marriage. Now that's